So I have a question.
Yeah.
So yesterday, Moses was talking about how well he's felt like he's been playing because of the consistency. And with your lineup changes, sometimes guys don't get that opportunity or they go cold. Do you think that could be a factor to how some may play, and then if they have like 2 or 3 games, they can get better, or if you sit them down for a while, it might be a struggle coming back?
Consistent minutes helps everybody for sure. Problem is you have to win. So if you give guys consistent minutes and you win, then you keep giving them consistent minutes, and everything's rosy and you have a great year. But when you're not winning, you have to try different things, and you can't necessarily offer everybody consistent minutes. So that's been the challenge this year. We're searching. We're trying to develop consistency and continuity, and then if you lose a few, if you're not doing well, you got to try something different, and it's never easy on the players, but it is what it is.
So when with your lineup changes and you playing different people, is it tough, you think, to adjust to one person and then that might change later? And
Tough for me or for the
players?
For the players.
No, you're not playing. But just if Steph is playing with Buddy, or then you switching with Podziemski or Gary, even though they're on the same team and they play a lot in practice, I don't know if you switch them around in practice as you do during a game. Do you think it's challenging for them too to kind of adjust as opposed to somebody new?
For sure, yeah. I mean, ideally you want to find lineup combinations that guys get comfortable with, rotation patterns that are consistent not only with minutes but with who guys are playing with. So all of that is true, and that's always what you're searching for. But like I said, it's not always that easy, because if you're not winning, then you can't just keep doing that, right? You have to try something different. And so, I think a big part of the theme this year, frankly, has been, just searching for more consistency. And, that's it's not an easy way to coach, not an easy way to play. But like I said, is what it is. We've got to do what we've got to do to try to get better.
Coach, is there a antsiness or anxiousness that you get as you approach a trade deadline, especially with the moves that have happened already?
Yeah, it's always an uncomfortable time of year for a team, just because guys know the business and they know on a moment's notice, they might have to pack up and move. And I had to do it. I got traded 5 times in my career, and 6 different teams. And, sometimes you got to, if you have kids, pack up the family and move, take the kids out of school, all that stuff is really tough. But it's part of the deal, and it's a piece of this profession that we try to walk our young guys through and help them understand that it's part of it, but it doesn't make it easy.
Of those trades that you were involved in, was there one that was the easiest that maybe your kids were like, okay, like we'll go there. That makes me happy.
Well, the easiest was actually I got traded from San Antonio to Portland during the school year. Kept my kids in San Antonio. I went up to Portland on my own. That was hard. And then as they were getting ready to move up to Portland that next summer, I got traded back to San Antonio. And so my kids were thrilled. And so was I, actually. So that was the easiest one. Just got traded back home.
Last night we were talking to Draymond, and he was talking about, what it's like being at 500. And he said, we have one of the most outspoken, what they call me these days, governors. He says, if you're a fool if you think that guy is happy sitting here at 500. He is always going to push the envelope, is what he was saying about Joe. When you hear something like that, I mean, it obviously aligns with what you guys are feeling up front.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, there's a reason this franchise is where it is right now. I mean, Joe bought the team and everything changed, and Joe has driven a lot of this success with his ambition and his vision, and obviously, the players are the ones on the floor, and Joe and his group, led by Bob Myers and now Mike. I mean, they've put together some amazing teams, but it's all driven by the ambition for success and victory, and it starts with Joe, and Draymond shares that, and Steph does, I do. We got a lot of competitive people in here, so not easy being 500 and wanting to be better, wanting to compete for a championship. So what we're dealing with is just the reality of where we are organizationally, and a decade into this run, most teams would have been broken down by this time, and all the parts sold off, and knew everything. But this team has been special for a long time, and we're trying to extend it for as long as we can, and it's not an easy thing to do.
So when you and Steph also talked about how basically it's along the same line, saying that this 500 ain't getting it for us, and that obviously even if there's nothing happens, he said we still should be better than we've been. How confident are you that things will at some point click in a way, whether you make a big deal or not, will click in a way that guys will start to playing at the level you expected when you came out of camp?
The thing that carries me is the fact that we started the season the way we did. We were top 5 in both offense and defense, and that was over a 15-game stretch. That's a pretty good sample size. So I know that we can do it. And, for a variety of reasons, we've fallen off. But I've seen it, and I've seen our guys perform at a level that was really impressive. And, and it wasn't just scheduling. We beat some really good teams, some of the best teams in the league on the road. And more importantly, there was a confidence and a swagger about us. So that's what we've got to try to recapture. And that's my goal as coach, is to help the guys get there.
Can you pinpoint in any way, like when that happened, when you lost that? I mean, was it just a series of poor games, or what point do you see, we don't have the same vibe we had in October?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I don't think it's ever one thing. I don't think it's ever one day. I think it was probably a stretch of 10 games, 15 games, right after that 12-3 start, where, we lost some close ones, some games that we probably should have won, had some injuries. And what I've noticed this year especially, I don't think the league has ever been more balanced and more varied from night to night in terms of results based on the variance of three-point shooting. And so it's really interesting to watch games around the league and to look at box scores and games that we play that are like really clean games where we take care of the ball and we don't turn it over, we make threes. Those are games that it feels like we should win, and we don't win all of them, and neither does anybody else because of all the three-point shooting in the league. So everyone's having to adjust to that. It just doesn't feel like anything makes sense in the NBA anymore. It's really, and I've talked to other coaches about it too. It's a different world that we're living in right now. We're all trying to adjust.